Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for continued coverage of the 2021 Junior Gold Championships from Indianapolis. My name is Aaron Smith with Bowl TV, and we are ready for qualifying round number 2 for the U20 boys and girls. They competed already earlier today, bowled 4 games. We'll get you those scores, recaps, and more in just a little bit. They're getting ready for their second oil pattern here of qualifying, so bowled the first round on one pattern, second round a different pattern. So we do not have the pattern information. They just have to use their ball motion to determine how to attack this pattern. They had a practice session yesterday, and they're ready to put that to work today. Let's go out to the lanes before we bring in the rest of the Bowl TV crew, because here at Expo Bowl for our U20 girls, they are ready to get underway here. Their warm-up session is complete, but we are at 2 centers right now, and we are streaming live. 4 channels at the Girls Center, 4 at the boys over at Western Bowl. So let's bring in Jason Thomas from Western Bowl. There he is. JT,
Hey.
welcome back.
How you doing, sir? Nice to see you again.
It's good to be seen. Good to be seen.
Yeah. We'll see if we can do some fireworks like we had earlier. It's July 4th a couple days ago, and we had some fireworks here at Junior Gold. Finished the morning round.
Certainly so. Jeremy Kinley finished with 300, so that's pretty awesome. We're going to get that up on social media as well in just a little bit, so folks can check that out if they missed it watching live earlier today. So some excitement there. As I mentioned, we do have scores and recaps from round 1 to check out in a little bit as well. But let's bring in our third reporter here on the Bowl TV team, Inside Bowling's Mike Flanagan, to the broadcast. There he is. Michael, hello.
Hey, 5 and 23. Those are the numbers. 5 young ladies are plus. 23 young gentlemen are plus. Bowling on the short oil pattern this morning. We got a new pattern for everybody at games 5 through 8 of qualifying. Remember, 16 total games of qualifying before we make a cut. And we're getting ready to see 5 through 8. We'll be halfway done with qualifying after about this 2 hour and 15-minute block we'll be bringing you here on Bowl TV.
All right, folks, as we settle in, we'll go full screen to the bowling so you guys can check it out. And as Mike ran down those numbers, let's take a look first at the U20 girls scores here after round number 1. And Kaylee Williams from Florida, out of the gate strong. Games at 214, 227, 213, and 225. Very consistent to get to plus 79, 879 her 4-game total.
Hey, Aaron, the only player to have 4 games over 200, all games over 200 out of all of the young ladies that participated this morning. I was going to tell you how many took to the lanes today, but it looks like there were 61 that took to the lanes, and there was a handful of folks that didn't make it out to the event.
So a very good note there, Mike, and that consistency definitely a key to success. Morgan Nunn from Oklahoma City, we saw her make a run at 300, had the front from 9 to start her final game, and that 275 finish propelled her to plus 60 into second place. Mabel Cummins, a member of Junior Team USA for a couple of years now, pair 230 games in the middle of her block to get her to plus 26. And then Caitlin Orasek from Yorkville, Illinois, 819 fourth. Ashley Morrow, we saw her have a strong finish, 224 to get plus 16. So those are your 5 players who are plus. 2019 U17 champion. I've got my numbers mixed up there. Caroline Neeser is in 6th place at -7, 793. Brianna Madison, 792. Cassidy Anschutz, 789. Megan Kohlberg, 786. And Saya Sweeney, 783, your top 10 here in the girls division. Over for the boys, Benjamin LaFontaine from New Hampshire. Nice opening block, 951, 237.75 average, games at 220, 214, 224, 234, and 279 to move into the top spot. Joy Ocello, a member of Junior Team USA, 917. Jace Godell from Minnesota, 904 in third. Connor Lackey and Kai Yamada tied for fourth at 893. Charles Bostic, 890. Nicholas Luther, 872. Jeremy Kinley, who had the 300 to finish, 869. So for Jeremy, tale of two halves with that block. 131 to start, followed by 181, but then finished 257, 300. So making the right moves on the pattern to make his run into the top 10. And then we got, and I apologize to Jaron because I'm probably going to mess up his last name here. Jaron Kirashag from Hawaii, 866. And then Lucas Reagan Coe from North Carolina, 861, your top 10 on the boys' side after qualifying round number 1. So the athletes got a pretty nice break. As Mike said, the round went quick, so had about a 2-hour break. Once again, a brand new pattern, so that's really the big thing these competitors are looking for is consistency across 4 patterns in qualifying to move on to the next round. And we do have some of those numbers available as well in the girls division, U20 girls. 61 total participants. 40 are making it to the first advancers round. 24 to the final advancers round with 16 in match play. 129 participants in the boys division for the U20. 85 are moving on to the advancers round. 50 to the final advancers round. And then match play, the top 16 once again. Eventually we'll get down to the top 3 for the stepladder finals, which will take place July 9th, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on BowlTV.com. A few folks asking about Jillian Martin in the BowlTV.com chat, and Jillian will be here next week. She falls into the U18 division based off of age, so she will be competing next week, which may seem a little weird because she did lead U20 back in 2019 to earn her spot on Junior Team USA, but strictly age-based moving forward now with some of the changes to the USBC youth membership. So going strictly off age, she is in the U18 division. So Jillian Martin, the standout from the PWBA Kickoff Classic Series earlier this year, will be competing next week here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, you have that to look forward to as we go into coverage for next week. You know, the thing I'm watching here, guys, early is earlier today we talked about how everybody got off to a slow start, kind of knocking the jitters off a little bit. Coming back to Junior Gold, big spotlight on you, a lot of pressure. You train, you prepare for this. Now everybody had a chance to go have lunch. Several great options around this area here, as well as where JT's located over at Western. Have an opportunity to go out, have some lunch, spend a little bit of time with your family, maybe with some teammates, maybe a friend that came with you, and put together a game plan for a new pattern here today. And I think we will probably see more of the same, which is, low first game on the fresh for a majority of the players. And then as the pattern breaks down, they start to get comfortable. Game 2, 3, and 4 with game 4 probably being the highest scoring game. It looks like there is friction out on the lanes here on the ladies' side, at least. Haven't had a chance to check out the men's side. We'll get an update from JT, I'm sure. But that's what I'm looking for here as we take a look at this 4-game block. Unique also, remember everybody, if you didn't join us this morning, that the players are actually bowling 2 qualifying blocks in one day, which is a bit different for this event. Typically, it's you bowl each day, you get your bowling in, and then you got the rest of the day to go sightsee or do whatever you want to do with your family or whatever. You got a whole day to prepare for that next round, but not the case this year here. in our U20 division. It's two blocks of qualifying a day here. So we're going to get it taken care of in 2 days, today and tomorrow. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time. So that's what I'm looking for here. I'm seeing a lot of friction, seeing a lot of shots go high. If you miss the left, you're going to be high in the head pin, and which pretty much tells me that if you miss right, there's OB. I haven't seen much of that yet. It's very early here, but that's what we're seeing. It looks very demanding, very difficult scoring pace here. You see a Brooklyn there by the southpaw. So that's what I'm seeing here early on here. JT, over on the men's side over there, on the boys' side, what are you seeing over there at your place?
Yeah, it's definitely a longer pattern. There aren't a lot of shots, missing way left like we saw this morning, but there are a lot more shots missing to the right for the righties. But the pattern's much smoother. There are multiple angles that look like they're in play, but the gutter still looks like it hooks a little bit. So I saw a number of players playing way out in practice, and the ball hooking back from the gutter. But I also see some players that are in the middle part of the lane that have a pretty good ball reaction. So it's just a lot smoother pattern, probably something middle length and multiple angles.
Yeah, if we had to guess, you thinking somewhere between 40 and 42 feet, something like that over there? JT, you got some friends over there with you? I can see in the backstage area here that you're there amongst the people again.
All right, as we settle in here, taking a look at our U20 girls featured pair at the moment. Some of the players joining us, we have Evan Smith and Erica Taylor over on 59 and 60. And then unfortunately right now that's Kayla Smith is the third player joining them. She was wearing a jacket earlier, and you can see actually the scoreboard is covering her name. So now you can read the name clearly on the back of the jersey. That is Megan Kohlberg, left-hander up on lane 61. Great shot there to fortunately leave the 8-pin. She's joined by Paige Fiorella. And then we already mentioned Caroline Thieser. We saw her a little bit earlier today as well. So sitting in the top 10 in the overall standings. Past champion here. Now we did stand out at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's so crazy to see how many great young athletes come out of these collegiate programs nowadays. We talked during the first qualifying block about how junior gold has come such a long way. Hand in hand with junior gold for the last 20 years or so. 1998, we confirmed, was the first junior gold. So technically 23 years with 22 events, with missing last year. That's also when collegiate bowling has really exploded over the last 20 years. Two bright spots. We talked about a monopoly board. What would be the different spaces in real estate on a monopoly board for bowling in today's landscape? College bowling, another one of those pieces on the monopoly board for sure. One of the pieces of property that you could build a hotel or a bowling center on. So definitely hand in hand with this event. So Vanderbilt, you've mentioned a lot of other colleges earlier, Aaron, as well. All Americans here participating, national champions, collegiate individual champions. That's the pedigree that we have here for you here today.
As we move along here in game one, just a friendly reminder, we are live, of course, on BoltTV.com, the place to be for action throughout the course of the week here. Actually, 2 weeks for the Junior Gold Championships between the U20.
9 channels right now. We got 9 channels.
9 channels going live right now. It's gonna bump up those numbers. Those are gonna be rookie numbers by the end.
Isn't it like 17 or something?
17 total. So we will
17 live stream.
We will be expanding, so doubling the amount of channels as we go to more centers moving forward. But we are offering a sneak peek right now on Facebook and YouTube. So for the folks watching on Facebook and YouTube, we'll be here for game number 1, and then we will be sending the broadcast directly and only to BoltTV.com. So that will be the place to watch continued action throughout the course of the week. So a few different options. If you are not a Bolt TV subscriber just yet, we have an option for an event ticket just to watch coverage live throughout Junior Gold for these 2 weeks, $14.95. You can pick up a monthly recurring subscription for $9.95. So that's you're already $75 going with the monthly, and that gives you full access to the website as well. So not only the live event coverage, but you get the archived events, you get the on-demand content. You can watch all the PWBA stops from earlier in the year, and you might even be able to catch 1 or 2 moving forward. Looking ahead to next month, we'll be right in the middle of the PWBA Summer Classic Series at this time. So something to think ahead a little bit later. Moving forward as well, $9.95 for that. Or you can pick up an annual recurring subscription, $79.95. That gets you not only the rest of the week, it gets you full access to the website, rest of the PWBA Tour season, and all the events that'll be taking place early in 2022. Have all those available as well to check out. And so be sure to check that out. Transaction fees do apply for all 3. And in addition to all of that, we also have giveaways. That's right, folks, giveaways here on BoltTV.com. So we had those throughout the course of the block. We already gave away something in the earlier block today. So that is a great part about being in the Bolt TV community. You get to not only get to chat with a great bunch of folks who are part of the Bolt TV community, stop by the chat every time, have a good old time talking bowling, and whatever other topics we may be discussing throughout the course of the block, but a chance to win as well. So be sure to look out for that with the subscription. So be sure to check that out, because once again, after this first game, we will be going directly to BoltTV.com.
There's a nice shot right there. Aaron, you wanna switch over and we'll check on the boys?
One more time, Mike. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. You want to switch over to the boys? Looks like we got a game going here by Tyrell over on Western number 2 channel.
Western number 2, Tyrell Ingalls, a current member of Junior Team USA. Check that. And there he is. He's going to be up on. Be up middle of your screen right there.
Yeah, he's playing out with urethane, Aaron, and he's got a great look. That shot he missed in and such, and it just laid off and ran him over. Yeah, I mean, if you get your feet in the right place on this pattern, they're very, very scoreable. That being said, I'm looking around. I have one pair in front of me who has a 123, 142, a 170 for their first game. So there's some sand traps out there for sure. But if you play your cards right, you can shoot some big scores on this pattern.
JT, that young man right there looks familiar to me. The Roto Grip shirt. Did he make a finals at Thunderbolt?
No, you're thinking of John Nunn.
Okay.
Yeah. But definitely some similarities with the hair.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I think I just saw Alec Keplinger sit down over there behind 39 and 40, our defending U20 champion.
Yeah, John Nunn was the U15 champion from 2019.
He just won Teen Masters too.
Oh, roll the old 245.
Clean living.
Yeah, clean living for double to put him in the high 190s. Yeah, and Alec Keplinger, he'll be on 39 and 40 in game number 2 with he's crossing with Cameron Crowe, Trevor Amir, and Brandon Howard. So a lot of star power on that pair for sure.
And if you're on BoldTV.com, you're already all set to check it out. So once again, for the folks watching on Facebook and YouTube, this is going to be our final few shots before we make the transition solely to BoldTV.com. Now you might get lucky and get a few bonus shots here as they're still wrapping up game 1 on 37-38. We'll see if Tyrell can finish this game off. Once again, max at 279 out there. As he kicks off his 10th frame. Oh, vicious.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. He didn't like the shot in the 9th, and then that one, I think he really liked it. That's bowling sometimes.
Bowling, man.
Bowling.
There's a bonus look at Alec Keplinger. The blue shirt, far right of your screen, delivering the strike to kick things off. In game number 2, game 6 overall for the day. One more shot to go here. Tyrell Ingalls, and then we'll take a quick break as we make the switch solely to BowlTV.com. So if you're watching on Bowl TV, hang tight. We'll be back in just a second here on the main channel. Of course, you can visit our other 8 channels as well if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you over at BowlTV.com for wire-to-wire coverage of the 2021 Junior Gold Championships from Indianapolis. So we'll be right back here on Bowl TV for game number 2.
What was that? What was that? What did you just say? What did he just say? He said slow down, right? He said slow. Okay. Same thing his answer was. You've got it is a marathon.
Nice 4-9 conversion there. We'll sit here and watch the players bowl. You're seeing a little bit of everything. Seeing some shots light that miss the head pin when you get it going away too far to the right. See some folks missing a little left target, paying the ultimate penalty. Guys making good shots, leaving 4-9s, picking them up. And then you'll also see a few people that are lined up that have created a little bit of room for themselves out there on the lanes. Good matchup, as JT talked about earlier, about putting the feet in the right spot. You can get scores. I think feet and ball matchup, allowing you a couple of boards or just to be a little bit off of your speed. And you're seeing some folks being able to string some strikes. You know, we talk about Cameron Crowe all the time here. He's such a phenomenal talent, and he's going to be up for you here. Threw a beautiful shot his last time up on the right lane. Kind of take a look and see how he's attacking them here. Further out for sure. And right off the gutter. It looks like that one was maybe a bit firm. He didn't like it. Didn't have good footing there. Comes in light. Very tricky out there today.
Yeah, after watching Terrell Ingalls and Keplinger and Cameron, it looks like urethane from out is a smart idea. You know, because it's 4-game blocks, you know, you're not going to see a huge amount of transition. So if urethane out looks good from the start, you know, you could probably throw that the whole 4 games, and it's not going to get you in trouble. And it looks like you can actually throw some big scores from that angle as well. So it seems like the right strategy to me. Of course, you know, those guys all have huge rev rates. You know, if you don't, you know, I think you can, if you have a lower rev rate, you can probably throw a stronger reactive ball from out. But I also saw Kai Yamada the first game have a pretty decent look from in with reactive. So it's there, but it just looks like, you know, the goal in this tournament is you don't want to shoot yourself out of the tournament with one of your blocks. And a sure way to do that would be to try to, you know, shoot a big number on this from in with reactive, and you can shoot something really low and get lost really quick. And then pair to pair, you run into some pair with, you know, urethane being thrown to your right with high rev rate guys, and all of a sudden, you know, you throw 5 or 6 2-8-10s in a game and shoot 130, and you're shooting yourself out of the tournament. So, you know, it just seems like the right strategy to me is to stay right on this pattern and, you know, keep it in play and option, you know, 900 maybe if you catch 4 good pairs or 3 good pairs and hit one of them really hard.
Yeah, 900 for 4, 225 average. That certainly would be a good number. JT, I've been watching a lot of these guys bowl. A lot of them are starting to come in light, maybe a little carry down.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's where what you were talking about earlier about touch and being able to slow your ball speed down or make the proper adjustments. I mean, we've seen a couple of buckets here, 2-pin combination, 3-pin combination for lefties and righties. There's another light shot, you know, 4, 8, 10 on a light pocket hit.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is, you know, the 4, 8, 10, that's someone throwing reactive and trying to hook it a little bit. You know, if you're throwing urethane, you're seeing 2 pins and buckets. You're not seeing 2 8 10s. And so that's what I like about it. And then, you know, like I said earlier, if you're trying to play in with reactive, all of a sudden you do catch some of that carry down with the urethane, and you're 2 8 10ing. And that's how you bowl really low scores.
Right off the edge of the gutter there for Cameron Crowe. I thought that was maybe going to go in.
Yeah, I think, you know, you left the bucket on that lane the last time. I think he actually just bumped a little bit to left.
Yeah, I agree. And it was the right move. But, boy, I was never good at playing the gutter, man. I was scared to death of that big old board.
Well, you know, it can be scary, but if you can play it and it's there, it's a huge advantage. I mean,
absolutely.
Even you know, on patterns where you know, following the PBA for as long as I did, patterns where you wouldn't think you'd be able to play out, the best players would always try to play out there just to see if there was something, because they would always prefer to play there if they could. And the other piece of that is that you're not going to have to move, and that's a really nice luxury to have. You know, normally during the course of a block, especially on a medium length pattern, you know, you're moving 10, 20 boards minimum, maybe more. And you know, if you can bowl 4 games without having to move your feet, and you have a good look, you're a huge advantage.
Absolutely, and you know, when you don't have to go left to right and cover so many boards, you know, you're taking a lot out of play, and you know, that's that entry angle that you need. So if you're starting further to the right, your entry angle's ultimately going to be better.
Cameron just went around that one. It's just something you very rarely ever see from him. Just completely missed it. And the reason that one 379 was because he went around it, so it had a little bit of motion in the back end. Well, Keplinger can get up here and shoot 258. And it's something we've seen him do quite a bit of, especially at the ISCs. Made the show there. Led the qualifying, playing out with urethane. So it's something he's really, really good at, and he's doing it well right now. Not his best shot there, but light mixer. So, you know, that's why you want to play the right part of the lane. You don't have to throw it perfect every time. You know, you can get away with you know, not your best shot.
Yeah, he's certainly playing them right. That's for sure. In all terms of that sentence, he's playing them right, and he's playing them right.
When you're right, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. That one gonna hook? Yep, 10 back. This will be fun. Yeah, I saw him running to the back there. I would imagine he's grabbing another bowling ball to just figure something out here.
Yeah, he's gonna get a reactive ball. And see what happens here, though, is, you know, if you ever lose that look, you know, from out, you're going to have to make a huge jump. You're going to have to jump into the traffic with everybody. So you need to have a really good idea of what you go to when you do decide, you know, you're going to have to make that move. So he's just kind of getting a look at what it looks like in the traffic with reactive there, in case he's forced to make that jump. But I don't think he will. I think he'll be able to stay here the rest of the block.
See that?
Hello to Dennis Hacker in the chat. Welcome.
There you go. Sounds like a plan. Okay.
Yeah, Cameron's highlight.
Yeah, I think after he left that bucket, he made a conscious decision to try to go around it a little bit more. And, you know, the last 2 shots we've seen, you know, a little bit of over-under. Looks like that one got left a little quick and hooked early on him. And, man, rough finish. Looking at shooting 240 with off the sheet from the 8th, and ends up going open for 191.
I'm going to go check what we have going on over here.
All right. Mike Flanagan going to check out the action in the girls division. And after game number 2 wraps up here, we'll probably bounce over there and get an update on what's going on the main channel. Watch some of that action over at Expo Bowl. But I hope you're enjoying the coverage so far. 2 more games left today, and then we'll be done for today. And then the field will come back tomorrow for 8 more games of qualifying. Same time, 7 a.m. start, local time here in Indy, and then 11:30 for our final round of qualifying tomorrow. And then we'll cut to our first round of advancers. And between games, before we switch over, we actually did have some highlights from this morning. We had a 300 game to close out our opening round here at Western Bowl. So we're going to show that clip, and then we'll come out and we'll show you more of the U20 girls action here from the 2021 Junior Gold Championships. So enjoy the clip from earlier this morning.
Here's Jeremy stepping up. 9 for 9 here in the final game, qualifying round 1, 2021 Junior Gold Championships. Oh, that was good.
Come back. But Jeremy Keneally with the front 10. Can he get number 11? That's in. Oh. Well, they say to shoot 300, you got to get a break or 2.
It's Jeremy. For 300. Come on. Oh, get out of time. There we go. How about that kickoff? Competition round 1 here at the 2021 Junior Gold Championships U20 Boys Division. Jeremy taking care of business, 300 in the final game. How about that, JT?
That was pretty exciting. Gets the Brooklyn there in the 11th and parlays it into a 300 game. It was his second 300 game, he said, certified.
Very cool, very cool.
Yeah, but this is the first one where he's going to go ahead and opt for the 300 ring. So pretty cool to have your first 300 award at Junior Gold.
I cannot argue that. Very cool. Congratulations again to Jeremy. Looks like we're wrapping up 3 here, or wrapping up 2 for the boys division. So let's take a quick look over on the women's side. Getting toward the end of game 2 here. Taking a look up at the pairings here, looks like the players joining us here over on 51 and 52 to your left. Mackenzie Ulian taking care of the 7-pin there. It's Olivia Peterson with the 10-pin left standing. Abby Sarmiento, excuse me, and then Rachel Kajida. Our 4 players over on 51 and 52, over on 53 and 54. Amber Elliott with the 4-7 left standing. Yarlis Alvarez, the 7 pin to shoot. Mabel Cummins, member of Junior Team USA, and Leah Diener joining the mix here. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, here in the U20 division, competition taking place starting today and going until July 9th. 61 participants here in the U20 girls division. After 16 games of qualifying, they'll get down to the top 40 for the advances round. That'll take place on Thursday. Those competitors will bowl 5 games, and then we'll cut to the top 24, who will bowl an additional 5 games to determine the top 16 for match play. Double elimination, 2-game total pinfall matches to determine who eventually ends up making the stepladder finals. That's going to be on July 9th, 1 p.m. Eastern. On the U20 boys side, 129 participants, 85 making it to the advances round. They'll follow a similar format, bowl 5 additional games, which will follow with a cut to the top 50. Then the final advancers round, another 5 games. So 26 game totals will determine the 16 players advancing to match play. We'll have some numbers for the other divisions, U12, U15, and U18, available to you next week once those competitors hit the lanes. We have a full list of rosters available for you. Talked about Mabel a little bit. She was in 3rd place after the opening round. Delivers a great shot to set up her 10th frame. Took it to 206 this game. So we mentioned those cut numbers, looking at the first advances round, and thinking ahead of what you need to do to put yourself in position. Obviously, different patterns for every 4-game block and qualifying. So, for the most part, everybody is going to probably find a little patch of a block or a pattern or transition where they're going to slow down, have to take some time to find the right moves, find the right look on the lanes. But with looking at the cut numbers, kind of the ratios, it's so imperative just to be able to consistently fill frames here at the Junior Gold Championships, and that's been that's been something that's been true for a long time. But with the amount of players being cut, that's even more so. You don't want to miss out on making one of these cuts. When spares are getting away from you. So that is definitely a big part of the experience, trying to find success across these 4 different patterns in qualifying. And, you are limited to 5 bowling balls. So you have to check in 5, and you have to find a way to make those work across multiple patterns. So your spare ball, whether it is a plastic ball or maybe you're using urethane, or, you're got the tool in your bag to be able to completely, even flatten out a reactive ball to cover up some spares. A very important part of the Junior Gold Week in navigating it and moving on and continuing to move on.
That's a good point, Aaron. It's not a lot of balls. Really do have to be smart about how to build that arsenal. And it was interesting yesterday during the practice session. The ball cards, were something that, you basically go out, you practice, you jot down a ball or 2 or 3 or 4, maybe that worked on that particular pattern. And then, you have to kind of look at, all right, how many times did I write down the same ball for, 3 different patterns? And then, at the end, you kind of have to say, all right, well, I'm probably not going to check in this ball because I'm only going to work on this one pattern, maybe. And I could probably get away with doing okay on this pattern with this ball. But if it's a ball that you think, man, I could shoot 1,000 with this ball on this pattern, maybe you keep it, right? I mean, so there's just a lot of strategy that goes into deciding, what 5 you end up picking. And, somebody like Cameron Crowe, who, likes to play out with urethane, he might have 2 or 3 different urethane balls that he would check in to give him some different among the urethane, and then maybe only needs, 1 or 2 reactive balls in that arsenal. So it just depends on what you see in the practice session, how, what your strengths are, and then, knowing your equipment. But it is a good challenge.
Does follow parallels to collegiate bowling as well. Looking ahead for many of these players on the USBC collegiate side, when you get to the intercollegiate team championships, and there's a ball limit at that event as well. So it's all part of the process, and kind of filling in all the stepping stones on your way to becoming an adult bowler, competing at events, looking even farther ahead at the Open Championships, the Women's Championships, if you're, looking for, to aspire even farther to the Masters, to the Queens, the U.S. Open, the U.S. Women's Open have ball limits as well. So all things that, do help you prepare for the future, even though, for some of these players that might seem a little bit farther away, but all these steps are important to prepare yourself when that time is coming, if that's something you're looking forward to down the road.
Mabel gets the 10 to go late there. Double in the 10th. So she's got 2-0 left.
I think
When I walked the concourse over there, it was scores were going up again. They weren't astronomical, but they were starting to go up again.
That's good. Well, I think my favorite Mabel Cummins tidbit was she was asked to list her favorite athlete. And this was when she was 14. And Mike, would you like to venture a guess? You'll never guess it in a million years who her favorite athlete was.
Yeah, I know. And I knew you were going to ask me too. I
mean,
knew you were.
You shouldn't feel bad. I mean, it's a totally random piece of information, but
I'm on an Olympic kick right now, and I know this isn't the right answer, but I'm just going to throw it out there just to kind of give a little nod to the Olympics coming up on NBC. Simone Biles.
it's a good pick. It's a good pick. Not even close to the right answer, but good pick. The correct answer was Jack Nicklaus. I'll just let you think about that for a second. What does it say about a 14-year-old girl who probably never saw Jack Nicklaus compete, right? I mean, he didn't compete the time she was born up until the time that she declared him as her favorite athlete. But what does that say about a person that Jack Nicklaus is their favorite athlete?
While we stew on that, as a friendly note on Mabel, last time Junior Gold was in Indianapolis, she won the U15 title, so potentially some good vibes for her. But JT, my stab at this will be, obviously Jack Nicklaus is on the golf side, and when you talk to folks about golf and who's changing the game, who everyone wants to kind of aspire to be for his success on the links is Tiger Woods, and the only person you ever hear Tiger talk about is chasing down Jack's record. So maybe kind of a nod to that, knowing that the greatest player of this generation is looking back to a great player in the previous generation. So that's my my quick attempt at trying to figure that out.
It's interesting. It's interesting because you'd think, if she was into golf, right, she'd pick Tiger Woods, or like I don't know if she'd pick Annika Sorenstam because she retired before Mabel was born. But it's just fascinating to me that she wouldn't pick Tiger. She'd pick the guy he's chasing.
The Golden Bear.
I just think it's such an interesting thing. I mean, I can't even get my kids to get into, the athletes that are current now, right? And here's Mabel picking a guy that, was great in the 60s and 70s as her favorite athlete of all time. I just thought it was just really very interesting. I think, we say a lot of times about prodigies that they're mature beyond their years. I think that reveals, her pick all-time favorite athlete reveals that even more so, because part of being great, I think, at something is you have to understand the history of it and the history of sports. To me, that really illustrates that she pays attention to that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool.
Well, JT, kind of based off of that theory, I know the young individual that you'll be looking forward to talking to down the road will be a two-hander who doesn't mention Belmo as his inspiration, but Jim Stefanich.
Oh, it would be so great if that was a real person you were talking about, Aaron.
It would be, yes.
I've got a twist on this Mabel Cummins story about Jack Nicklaus. Did she give you the reasoning behind this?
No. I think we did ask her. I wasn't part of the group that asked her, though. But it was mentioned, I believe, on a TV show that she appeared on.
Okay, so I gotta guess at this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a completely different angle here, and that it's not because she admired his career or anything like that. Something got it kick-started. Like they were either born in the same hospital, from the same town, or maybe like Jack Nicholson's or Nicholas's. That's what I was trying to say. If Jack Nicklaus's grandson or grandnephew was born in the same town, in the same hospital, or she bumped into some relative of Jack Nicklaus, started researching why this guy was so good, and then that's why. I think there was like some kindling or a Duraflame log that got this fire burning. It wasn't just a steady smoke that eventually turned into fire. I think there was a big log that created the fire. And now we got to find out.
Yeah. No, we should do the homework. And maybe she's changed her mind since then. When I was 14, I had favorite things that ended up not being my favorite things by the time I was 16 or 18.
It's funny how that works out. It's all about timing. People ask me, who's my favorite baseball player? Will Clark. People are like, why Will Clark? Right? Well, because at the time of my life, when my dad and I were watching baseball, it just happened to be the Giants against the Cubs in the NLCS, and then the Giants went on to get killed by the A's in the series that's so famous for the earthquake. But Will Clark was hitting home runs, and out of all the people I could choose from, I liked his swing the best. So Will Clark's my favorite player of all time. If those 2 weeks I'm not hanging out with my dad watching baseball, he's not my favorite player, right? Something happened.
Yeah. You mean Will Clark's not your favorite player because he coaches Jillian Martin? Jillian's coach is Will Clark. Not the same person, but
not William Nushler Clark.
Yeah, not Will.
Will the Thrill, right? Yeah. And I want to meet Will Clark one day, which ties all this back into bowling, right? John Burkett is friends with Will Clark. They were teammates.
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
So I got to get that thing to work out today.
Well, you should come down to the ITRC. John practices there all the time.
He also has a place in Park City, Utah.
Which would be more convenient for you.
It would, but not for Will Clark. I think Will Clark lives in Texas now. Anyway, we really got off the rails.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did, but it was fun. So I'm curious. I don't think the patterns are exactly the same that the girls and the boys are bowling on, but are you seeing kind of some of the same characteristics of the patterns that we're seeing over here, where you can play out, but part of the lane's more tame than it was in the morning?
Absolutely. Yep. And it wouldn't shock me if they were the same. I don't think that they are, but it wouldn't shock me if they were.
Yeah, obviously it's a different surface, different bowling centers, so that there would be some differences from that standpoint. But I would think it would stand to reason that there would be some similarities in the pattern.
Well, there was a lot of friction this morning, and it was shorter in both places, right?
Yeah, correct.
And now we're seeing more of a medium pattern. similar characteristics. Not to say it's the same, because we really truly don't know. And folks, we do not know. Nobody gives us this information.
You know, there's certainly an art to designing lane patterns, and I think one of the reasons why Nick Hoagland's a genius and he belongs in the Hall of Fame is because, you know, it's like great books. When you read a great book, there are little nuggets in there that symbolize certain things, or they reference certain things, they call back to certain things. And when Nick Hoagland does a pattern, there is always some reference or theme, it seems, built into the patterns. And so, you know, for him to tie these patterns together on the men's and the women's side, and again, we don't know anything about what these patterns are, but I wouldn't be surprised to see, you know, some event that was held in these buildings from, you know, 30 years ago tied in as a theme to these patterns. And I think that's what's so great about the way Nick designs patterns, is because when you understand where the pattern came from, you know, you can look back on history and say, oh, well, you know, Leanne Holsenberg won on that pattern, and you know that's why this person is doing so well, because she's the Leanne Holsenberg of, you know, 2021. You know, just there's just so many cool things about the way Nick designs these patterns that, you know, are kind of built in. Which unfortunately we'll have to wait until the end of the tournament to find out. But I would not be surprised if there were some similarities between the patterns.
And Nick coming from the Indianapolis area, so certainly knows the centers throughout the area very well. You know, we mentioned a little bit earlier today the Hoosier Classic taking place at Western Bowl each and every year, an event that Nick and his H2M management crew run. They run a couple of collegiate events in the area, along with some stuff for local players as well. So yes, I'm sure there's a local tie and nod, something kind of intertwined into the pattern. You know, even you know, potentially looking, you know, ahead to something these competitors may see someday down the road on the PWBA tour or the PBA tour, whatever it may be. So very cool. And as we get into Game 3 here on the women's side, taking a look at lanes 51 through 54. So this is Expo 1. Over on 51 and 52 to your left, we have Lauren Tomacheski, Ashley Morrow, and Brianna Thurston. And over on 53 and 54, Lyric Osteen, Amanda Fisher, and Hong Nunn.
JT, you said that Nick Hoagland should be in the Hall of Fame. What Hall of Fame?
I think he certainly belongs in the USBC Hall of Fame. Maybe have enough service to get into the PBA Hall of Fame, but he did design all the initial animal patterns, which is a pretty big accomplishment. I mean, that started the whole foundation of what the PBA does in terms of lane maintenance. So, pretty big accomplishment, but I could certainly see him getting into the USBC Hall of Fame for meritorious. You know, everything that he's done for the sport, running, you know, obviously the Hoosier event for as long as he has. He's in some local Hall of Fames just for that. But you know, if you look at his resume, it's pretty impressive. I mean, he's an Eagle winner at the Open Championship, so there's that. And then you know, then you go into the PBA career, and so he had a pretty significant feather in his cap there, designing all the animal patterns. And now, you know, what he does for USBC in terms of all of the patterns, you know, the PWBA, the pattern designs there, the Open Championships, you know, the collegiate. I mean, he's a legend in the sport. So, I mean, if you're looking at people to put in the Hall of Fame, he's right at the top of your list, especially in that meritorious category.
What would it take to get one Nick Hoagland into the Hall of Fame? Somebody's have to nominate him.
Yeah, that's it. So get those nominations in.
Dan Patrick recently wrote the NFL Hall of Fame, saying that, and I forget the gentleman's name, but he was the voiceover for all the NFL films.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't in the Hall of Fame, and Dan Patrick petitioned and wrote a letter and called them, and this year he's going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that guy deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's the voice of the NFL.
Yeah,
even more so than like a Jim Nantz.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a pencil to paper. I'm gonna not. I think there's some other people out there that deserve to be in some halls of fame for different reasons. We had you had a colleague. I had a young man I used to like to put in his place, and all in good fun. But he was always a big advocate of a live stream Hall of Fame. And he actually made mention that you and I are first ballot Hall of Famers, and I always said I'd have to go in with the second class, the second group. I'll take the Hall of Fame nod, but I don't think I'm the first class. But you are, JT.
Well, thank you, but I think the only way we're getting in the Hall of Fame is if somebody does create the live stream Hall of Fame.
That's true, but the inside joke on that I've always said is there can't be a live stream Hall of Fame because then there'd be nobody to live stream the Hall of Fame.
Right. It's a very self-serving proposition, right? We'd have to create the live stream Hall of Fame, and then we'd have to live stream it, and then we'd have to put ourselves in. So
I know. That's what's so messed up about it. Yeah.
But I definitely think Nick Hoagland at some point, if not already, is a legit Hall of Famer.
I always for a while I was trying to figure out ball reps, any ball reps that should be in the PBA Hall of Fame, and I thought Chris Schlimmer should have been or should be in the PBA Hall of Fame for the amount of time he spent out on tour and the amount of titles that he won.
Yeah,
with Storm players, and it was at a time when Storm, wasn't necessarily the leader; they were still underdogs. And the work that he did and Brian Berg, but Slim really, and he did phenomenal things with Pete Weber, which was great for the sport. And then Pete hadn't won on the senior tour in like 3 years, and Slim went and repped an event earlier this year, and Pete won that week.
Yeah,
and then he won the week right after, and then he bolted the title last week and lost to Barnes. But the whole point of the story is there's some sort of connection there between Pete Weber and Slim had that ability with a lot of people out on tour. Norm, another one, he had a lot of success with Norm, and I know the tour is a little bit different, but during that period of time when Storm was really coming onto the scene, Chris Schlimmer won a ton of titles with guys on tour, and I thought he was a guy that could be in the PBA Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's a great point. And something I've never heard is ball reps talking about how many titles they have. And I don't know if that's just like a thing, like they don't like talking about that because they feel like the player is the one that's winning the title. But you'd wonder, like, if there was a all-time titles list, where would Chuck Gardner rank on it? I think he'd be pretty high. Where would Del Ballard rank on that list? And where would Chad Murphy rank on that list? I think it would be fun to kind of see how many titles the different ball reps. Dave Smart was one of the original ball reps. I remember him at the US Open the year I bowled when I was 19 years old, helping a bunch of players. And one of the great conversations I've ever heard was him and David Ozio. He was trying to convince Ozio to try to play out where Walter was playing. And he just got more and more frustrated and basically told him it's impossible. It's like climbing on top of a ladder and dropping a champagne glass on concrete without breaking it. but you know, it's a very behind the scenes. It's not really a thankless job, but it's one of those jobs where, you know, people don't maybe see it as much, but it's a huge part of what goes into, you know, high level competition. I don't know if there's any caddies in the PGA or the Professional Golf Hall of Fame. That'd be a good question to ask.
Yeah, it really would.
Because there should be.
All right. Well, I guess we got some nominating to do.
Well, Mike, you mentioned that you thought scores would go up here as the block wore on, and some of the boys are bowling quite fast. And got one gentleman in front of me with the front six right now. Game number 4, which we can switch over to after the girls over there finish up game number 3. And by the way, Mike, there is a young man in the field by the name of Will Clark. And he actually has, in quotes, this is what it actually reads on his name shirt: Will the Chill Clark.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I got Will the Thrill on one shoulder and Will the Chill on the other shoulder. Which direction am I going to go?
Yeah. We can. He's actually bowling on Channel 1 right now, on Western Channel 1.
Channel 1. I used to have a Channel 1 in high school. We used to watch Channel 1. Anderson Cooper was where he cut his teeth. Was on Channel 1.
Wow.
Educational CNN for kids. I went to a private school because I was just that cool, and that's what they played in the mornings. Started our day with Lisa Ling also was part of that.
Oh yeah.
Channel 1.
Channel 1. Waynesboro.
Yeah, that too. You know, JT, we've talked about a Channel 13 before. And I didn't think, it's always been a joke. But Channel 13 is actually going to happen here. It's just going to be a different type of channel.
And have Channel 16 and 17 as well.
I know.
Next week.
It's going to be like cable.
Well, Fortunately, we switched over to this channel, and Jacob White, his first miss of the game.
That's Aaron's fault.
Fair enough. I'll take it.
But we can still see a 279. Won't be quite as exciting as the 300 we got to watch to finish off round 1 of qualifying, game number 4. But if you happen to miss that, we do have video of it over on our USBC Facebook and other social pages. So be sure to check that out. Give it a thumbs up, a like, love.
Share.
A congrats.
Retweet.
Retweet.
Send it out as a DM to all your friends. Slide on in with the highlight.
Or you can do what one enterprising young man did and took the video of Jillian Martin making the Big Four, played it on TikTok, and it's got over 1 million views on TikTok now.
Really?
Yeah. We're still trying to serve him papers, but no, I'm just kidding. We're not. TikTok is the Wild West, man. I'm just happy it reached that many people.
Yeah, it is the Wild West. You're right. If we have any TikTok gurus watching, I would love for somebody to do some sort of mashup of JT and I talking about getting people into the Hall of Fame, some musical track mixed into some sort of house trance music with people doing dancing around. If anybody wants to put that together and get that out there, hit me up, and I'd love to see that. And if you can get footage of Aaron Smith converting the 4-5, like always, slide in there some way somehow. I might even pay for that.
Yeah, we do have footage of him leaving a 5.710 on a video game.
That's right.
Yeah.
So TikTok, you can do 3 minutes now, I was told this week. They just changed it. 3 minutes.
3 minutes, man.
Yeah, you can go full 3 minutes now. They're trying to compete with YouTube, I believe.
Wow. Not sure why they want to do that. Why would you want to compete with? Right? I mean, like, I already feel guilty for watching, the length of TikTok videos that they are now. So how am I going to feel watching a 3-minute TikTok video?
Yeah, I guess, you're now going to be able to start out with, the introduction, the problem, and then the solution. In 3 minutes.
Gotcha. So it'll be like a sitcom.
Yeah, exactly. I got a new dress. Somebody spilled coffee on the dress. I got it cleaned, and Phil showed up to the event and looked fine. The end.
Okay. Makes sense.
I don't know. But I just noticed that they extended it.
Boy, that's a tough thing to do. Take the 4-pin out of a 248.
Yeah, it's not very easy.
All right, let's see if Jacob can bounce back and go off the sheet. Still has a possible 235. Meanwhile, on this same pair, Corey Roth can still shoot 239. So a couple good scores here in game number 4. Scott Ian, shoot 176. Good shot there from Jacob. High flush.
Did I see that the host side of Junior Gold has been announced for next year?
You did. You did, sir.
Heading up a little north, huh?
Yes.
Grand Rapids, Michigan, 2022. Nice shot. JT, would you say about 50% of the bowlers over there are using urethane?
I would say that's a good number. It's a thing. I mean, it's so interesting. You know, think about 10 years ago. How many two-handers were percentage of the field on the boys' side 10 years ago? And how many urethane balls were being used 10 years ago in this tournament? Almost none, I would say. There were probably a few two-handers. You know, Balmo at the time was starting to become a big thing on the tour. But I mean, now everybody has urethane. So many two-handers. I mean, the game, it's just amazing how quickly the game can change.
Yeah, definitely. I still wish that they'd come back out with like a helix.
Yeah. You know, I'm not sure why they came out with that the first time.
Yeah, like if you really think about this, right? And I don't want to give away all my secrets here. They're my nutty ideas, but wouldn't you think that a bowling ball company could come out with a ball that's got like, you know, it's pure urethane, right? And I know some of this has been done, but then you come out with a ball called the 5%, right? And it's got 5% resin, whether if it's mixed in with the urethane or it's just a stripe, right? Put it in the track, whatever you need to do, or put it where the ball kind of flares a little bit. I know urethane balls typically don't flare a lot, but you can get it to flare a little bit. And then you take it from there and you release all these balls. You got 10%, a 15%, a 20%. So then as the lanes break down, you just change percentages with the ball.
Yeah. Well, you know, I know Walter A won a title with the Helix.
Yeah, ball was cool.
It was a cool looking ball. Very unique concept. I think generally people didn't like it, didn't like the ball. Walter Ray won with everything around that time. He could have won with a wooden, lignum vitae ball. He won with a Maxim, purple Maxim. He beat Joe Furpo for a title, throwing plastic at a time when reactive was, becoming all the rage. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting concept.
I also thought about the blob.
What's that?
You just take a big blob of resin and put it somewhere on the ball. It's like a 6-inch radius, and it's a big blob of resin on the ball, and everything else is urethane. But in case you need just a little bit of change of direction down lane, you pull out your blob. Yeah, I went from my pitch black to the blob in game 4. It's the same ball. It's got a big blob of resin somewhere on the ball.
Yeah.
70% of the way that it rolls is like a urethane ball. But just when you need to, get the corner pins out a little bit more, you just go to the blob. It's kind of like the Helix. It's just odd.
I like the name.
The blob.
Yeah. I always like a name who's a name of a ball that sounds worse than the way people describe how I throw it.
There you go.
Yeah.
You see that schlub throwing the blob?
Yep, exactly. That's me.
You could do a whole campaign on this. And, somebody's bowling bad, right? Somebody's bowling bad. They've tried every ball in their bag except for that one. So the guy walks up to him and says, "What about blob?" Right? What about blob?
What about blob?
Dr. Leo Marvin could be the creator of it. Baby steps could be the instructional video that comes with it.
Yeah. Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss hate each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they hated each other working on that movie. All right, coming down to the end here, game number 4, which is really game number 8 of the day.
Well, guys, the only way I can top that conversation that you just put together is by having a giveaway here on Bowl TV.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you took the ticker down.
That's why I took the ticker down. So one more Bowl TV t-shirt left to go today, since this is our final round, our final game of competition today, before we return tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern for round number 3, and then round number 4 qualifying here for the U20 divisions also taking place. So Bowl TV t-shirt time. Once again, if you did not, or if you're joining us for the first time, you'll see a prompt in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. It will say a giveaway will begin soon. Watch here to participate. And then from there, it'll count down. You'll see a prompt in the same spot that says a giveaway has begun. Click that submit entry button. You'll be entered to win. So once again, as a disclaimer, please take it out of full screen mode. Make sure you can see the chat and everything for your opportunity to win. So we'll get that going underway. Good luck, everybody, and thank you for being part of the Bowl TV community.
Yeah, we've actually got, I don't know, whenever a giveaway goes off around me, a light starts going off. I don't know if everybody at home has the same thing happening. But I know there's a giveaway coming.
Georgia. Yeah, but I grew up in New York, like in the city.
There he is.
See, we got a giveaway going on, everybody. I know everybody's got a light going off like I do right here. I don't know what's going on here. I really don't.
I think you're getting pulled over.
Well, or a disco. I don't know. I just saw a whole bunch of people from a village. Village people. Anyway, in case you didn't know, we got a giveaway going on, everybody. Not the blue light special; it's the every light special.
You're going from like Blue Man Group to the Incredible Hulk to angry Bugs Bunny.
Yep.
Don't make the Hulk angry. You won't like him when he's angry.
Trying to enhance the broadcast here is what we're trying to do.
Good. It's a good job. Well done. I gotta get me one of those lights.
Yeah, Kirill turned me on to this thing. Kirill told me, he said, you got to get one of these lights. It's USB powered, does all these different lighting things. It's how he lit everything for the stuff he was filming in Reno.
Okay. That's cool.
$40 Amazon. It's called a Nan light.
Amazon's so great.
Congratulations to Jim for winning the Bull TV t-shirt.
Yeah, Jim.
Big thanks to everybody for participating. Jim, our marketing team will be reaching out to you in the next couple days to secure that size and the right place to ship it to you. But congratulations, and thanks again to everybody for being part of the Bull TV community.
And also, Jim, for everybody else that's part of Bull TV, I just want you to know you do not tug on Superman's cape, and you definitely don't spit in the wind. And you don't mess around with Jim. You don't mess around with Jim at all. Jim, congratulations. You got your t-shirt. We're not going to mess around with you. Today's broadcast is dedicated to all the parents watching that understand all of these references that we've come up with today. You got to be over 35 for a majority of them.
Or Mabel Cummins.
Touche.
a good note. Shows your potential on that last one. Alright, so there's one bad game out of all the other stuff.
Ooh. Ouch. Solid 8.
Tough break there for Sydney Horton as she kicked off her 10th frame. Stuffed 8-pin. We had 9-pin to it too. Goodness. Natalie Heltney. Now a 4-9. What's going on this channel?
We're trying to leave the whole back row before we get off the air.
My goodness. Saya Sweeney working on a couple strikes in the row. 9th frame, 4-9 for her. All right, folks, we are getting toward the end here of round number 2 qualifying for the U20 boys and girls divisions at the 2021 Junior Gold Championships taking place at Expo Bowl and Western Bowl in Indianapolis. Be on the lookout later today for a recap on bowl.com. Taking a look at some of the big scores and a few different storylines here for day number 1 of the Junior Gold Championships. As we mentioned, we already got the video for the 300 game, which was seen live here on Bowl TV, available on the USBC and the Youth Bowling social media channels. So be sure to check that out. Give Youth Bowling a follow at youth_bowling. That's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. Sport of Bowling USBC on Facebook, at USBC on Twitter, at US Bowling Congress on Instagram.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff out there on those platforms. So if you don't already follow, which I'm sure you probably do, it's a good follow, especially right now, right in the middle of Junior Gold. Get all the updates, all the news, everything that's going on with Junior Gold.
Got to head back over to Western Bowl here as we had a pair that had a bit of a breakdown. So they're just got a couple frames left to go here before things wrap up over at Western.
Yeah, just had a quick conversation with Cameron Crow. He was not happy with how he bowled. He said he's around 100 over, which he said is an okay number. It'll be in the top 16, but it didn't bowl very well today. So he should have gotten a lot more. So, and it just gives you an idea of what was out there today. You know, for one of the players that we expect to be, you know, a contender in the tournament. And we did see a lot of low scores, but you know, he felt like they were gettable. And we also mentioned that, you know, if you got your feet in the right place and had the right ball in your hand, both patterns, you could score a little bit.
I'd be interested to know if he puts extra pressure on himself coming into this event as opposed to others.
I think so. I mean, it does certainly seem like an event where you would put a lot of emphasis on it. You know, there's a lot of pressure. It's funny that this tournament was called Junior Olympic Gold, right? That's what the original title of the event was called. And it does kind of remind you of the Olympics in a way, because it only comes around once a year. Obviously, Olympics is once every 4 years, but there is that pressure to do well because it is the event of events. You know, it can make your year, you know, bowling well here. And there's certainly a lot of great tournaments that happen throughout the country, you know, at the youth level, that, you know, if you win one of them, it's a great feather in your cap for your resume. But this one, you win this and it's forever.
Yep, it sure is. Certainly gets people's attention too.
Absolutely.
Like, you know when you call like all balls?
Kind of like the McDonald's All-American basketball game.
It is. Absolutely is. And they had the high school All-American team around that. And, it's just a pyramid of, accomplishment. And this is the best at the junior level. And then, within that, you have the different age divisions, which is a great addition. As you guys mentioned in the early teens. But still some striking going on. You can see that there are players that are still playing out pretty far out to the right, which, in recent times, you wouldn't see that even in a 4-game block. You would see players jumping way left. But because of the urethane, because of, the design of the pattern, you're able to see players playing out at the end of the block, which is great. A pattern that is probably not, it's kind of my guess is that this is about a 40-foot pattern. Look at that ball sparking off the gutter. Oof.
I went 798. It was so dark. Like hit or miss. The 1-2 forward. Or the 1-3 forward. Where was that? Like, down there. 50. Yeah,
Watch this shot, Mike.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you very little.
That's the power that you don't want. That's where a 4-5 looks really good right now. Because
You know,
you
yeah.
can pick a 4 or 5, but a 7-9 is a little bit harder.
It is. Ball doesn't fit between those two. Well, it does, but it won't make both of them. We did see a player at the last PWBA event, back-to-back frames go 7-9, 8-10. So left the whole back row in 2 shots. Eileen is not yielding strikes easily.
Not at all.
That's something I'm really glad that has made its way back into the game is, the ability to slow hook urethane. I was always sad that it looked like that part of the game was going away forever.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was going to come back either.
No, exactly. Yeah, it just seemed like it was impossible for that to come back.
Short oil is what made urethane come back. The international competition is what made older urethane balls give an advantage. Then the ball manufacturers had to come out with urethane again. Then people started trying it on different patterns, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it's really an interesting story. I mean, it's very unique to bowling. You don't ever see technology go backwards in sports, and in bowling, it became a thing. Imagine in tennis, like if there was a scenario or a reason to use a wooden racket, right? Like, okay, this guy serves it so hard that I'm going to use a wooden racket. That's going to counteract what the power of this guy's serve. But that's not what would happen. It would just, it would just break the racket. There would be no sweet spots. It's just mind-boggling, in bowling that technology actually has older technology has found a way back into relevance again. And it's really funny because if anybody who remembers the reaction to reactive resin coming out, it was not very well embraced by a lot of folks, and people wanted it banned, and people put a lot of pressure on USBC as a governing body to do something about it. Back then it was ABC and WIBC, and now it's just gone completely full circle to the point where people seriously say that urethane should be banned, which is it's just so funny. It's hilarious to me.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything that has come back in any sport or even outside of sport that has become something that you need as a tool or that has helped you have more success with an older piece of technology.
No, I can't. I can't think of one.
There's got to be something, but
Yeah, I mean, in basketball, they're not going to go back to wearing, Chuck Taylor, Converse.
there are some people that still insist when they're recording video to be recording on film so that the digital file doesn't possibly get corrupted or erased. But that doesn't quite fit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that would be the only thing I could think of, but it's certainly not in sports.
It'd almost be like if in NASCAR somebody pulled out like a Dodge Super Bee car and said, "I'm going to race with this week, and I'm going to have an advantage because of the track conditions or the way the track is laid out. I'm going to get in this 1970 something Super Bee with a big wing on the back car instead of the regular NASCAR."
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thought, because NASCAR has limited performance, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Whereas, in bowling, there are certain limits built in, but it's actually an advantage to throw, an older piece of technology at times.
Well, I guess you could say in golf that a driver has a lot more technology than an iron, but there are certain times where you hit an iron as a tool, even though there's technology in a driver.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the pros that is a good analogy. The pros in golf all use older technology for the most part. Not all, but most of them use clubs that you or I would not benefit from hitting.
Right. Because of the forgiveness in the clubs made for us, it actually makes us a better golfer because it's made for people that make mistakes as opposed to clubs that are made for people that repeat what they do over and over again. There's a better club for them. Stiffer shafts, I believe it is.
Correct. The blade irons, smaller heads, and there are people that know a lot more about golf that can explain it. My understanding of it is that you can control your distances better with blade irons. You can also shape the ball a lot easier with blade irons than you can with game improvement clubs. And so, the pros don't need the help from that extra technology. But, in bowling, yeah, urethane ball might look great on one pattern, but, if everybody's throwing reactive and chucking it left to right, urethane's not going to be all that helpful to you. But if you can play to the right and you get a lot of other players to do the same thing, it totally changes the characteristic of what you're bowling on. And, that kind of, it's just really interesting, really, really interesting. And it also reveals kind of, people's resistance to change, that when reactive came out and started to replace urethane, people like me and didn't like it. And now it's kind of going back the other way. People don't want to. Hey, I already know how to use reactive. I don't want to have to go back to throwing urethane. It's who moved my cheese.
Yeah. Hey, are rubber balls legal now?
No. Did you say, are they illegal?
Yeah, like can they still be manufactured? Like, can you get a rubber ball approved?
As far as I know, yes.
Because I had heard a conflicting story, and it wasn't a reputable source; it was hearsay. But a rubber bowling ball also could combat, when urethane's in play, a rubber ball could also work.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, there's plastic too.
Yeah.
I was always curious as to why Belmo didn't throw urethane instead of plastic. He came out and threw a lot of plastic early.
Yeah, he did. You're right. Yeah.
And I always wondered, how come he doesn't throw urethane?
Yeah.
Then he became great with urethane. That won him a lot of titles.
I'm not trying to be difficult here or funny. I'm actually being serious with this. But is a wood bowling ball legal today?
It's a good question for Mike Spridko.
Because you would think, in all seriousness, you got a wood lane, you got a wood pin. Doesn't a wood ball just make perfect sense?
That's what they used to be made of.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, was there ever a wood ball sanctioned? Did it get USBC approved, ABC approved back in the day? A wood ball. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you what. I bet if we could get the pros to bowl with wooden bowling balls for a one-night event on Bowl TV, I bet people would watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would watch. I would live streaming it, of course, but I would if I didn't have to live stream it, I would still watch it.
Could you imagine how we would like some of the things that might happen in a match like that? Like, and Troops pulling out his Dremel.
Well, Mike, I think we have no more bowling.
Yeah, I know. And Aaron Smith is on assignment.
Yeah. So that's going to do it here from Expo Bowl and Western Bowl for our day one of qualifying coverage here at Junior Gold. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and joining us. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern time for more coverage here from Junior Gold. But we are going to sign off here. I'd like to thank Mike Flanagan, Aaron Smith for all the help this morning. Again, hope you guys enjoyed the coverage. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, the Gold Partners, Kegel, the official lane maintenance supplier of Junior Gold and of USBC. I'd like to thank Logo Infusion, official jersey supplier of Junior Gold. And I also like to thank the athletes for coming out and putting on a great show for us here this week. We've got a lot more coverage coming this week and next week here at Junior Gold. So thank you to them. Thank you to the Bowl TV subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being a great community. We enjoy bringing this action to you. Couldn't do it without you. And I hope you join us back here again tomorrow, bright and early, 7 a.m. Eastern time. 2 more squads, and we will cut to our advancers here at the U20 Junior Gold Championships. Again, have a great day, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the coverage, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good day, everybody.